Figure it out!
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series and is intended to aid the Dreamcast and gaming community. Sega Dreamcast unofficial controller adapters, or controller converters, whatever. These are basically designed to allow you to use controllers for other systems on the Dreamcast. I'll look at this middle one first, because I have its box. Yeah, it's called the Total Control Plus. Makes PSX controllers work with DC. They can't actually say PlayStation or Dreamcast, so they just abbreviate because they know that everyone knows the abbreviations, which is funny. Yeah, so basically you get this thing if you want to use a PlayStation controller on your Dreamcast, which to me is little better than terrorism. Yes, I hate the PlayStation controller. I'm sure I'll get attacked for that. I don't care. Have fun. But I'm just saying, using the PlayStation controller on a Dreamcast is not really a good idea. Unless you... maybe for fighting games, but then again, there are alternatives for that. And the only one like justifiable reason to have this, as far as I'm concerned, is for Bleemcast games. The 3 official, maybe not so much, because they're kind of... they were reconfigured to work with the actual Dreamcast controller. But, the unofficial stuff, in some cases, it's better to have a PlayStation controller. More on that in some other video. But, there are alternative ones. So, yeah, here's first this one that's in the box. It has its own VMU slot thing. I mean, I guess you could put a jump pack there, but there's no reason to do that. It wouldn't do anything. I know that this model allows the DualShock controller to actually support any game that has rumble, or so it claims on the back. So you don't need that. If you put your VMU there, it'll still save, and the controller will still vibrate, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's not bad. This one actually has a good amount of cable, which is nice. So you can place this thing on the floor, as opposed to, like this one, you can see here, it's really short, so it just kind of dangles off the system, which is not really very good. But yeah, that one can be on the floor, and you can have a controller, extender or whatever, and yeah, it's good times. So that will lead me right into this one. This one is my least favorite because it does the same thing but not as well. Although it does allow you to use a PC keyboard for some reason, which maybe back when the system was new, this would have made a little bit of sense because Dreamcast keyboards might have been a little bit unnecessarily expensive. And everybody's like, "Oh man, I just want to use my own keyboard." Well, there you go. You can do it there. Yeah, this one actually has a little bit of a funny story on how I acquired it. I went out and tried to buy a Dreamcast dance pad. Not the one that I have a video of, it was a different one. So I go to this website, I buy a Dreamcast dance pad, and they send me a PlayStation dance pad and this thing. And they're like, oh, and I was like, what is this? I don't want this. I want the Dreamcast dance pad I purchased. And they were like, oh, well, you can use this thing and the PlayStation dance pad and make them work. And I was like, that's not the point. That's not what I wanted to buy. I wanted a Dreamcast dance pad. And I was like, all right, well, I want to return this then. And they're like, okay, well, it's going to cost this much to ship it back. And I was like, why should I pay for the shipping? You were the one who sent the wrong thing. And ultimately, they gave me my money back and just let me keep the stuff because they didn't want to deal with me. So, yeah, that was cool. But, yeah, this one works fine. But it has this lack of cable is kind of its downfall because you either have to place it on top of the system very carefully, kind of like, yeah, that, or it has to dangle, which is not really a good idea. But yeah, it works. It's fine. This one is probably my favorite. It's because it's kind of unique. First of all, it actually has the Dreamcast logo and the official printing on there, which it kind of begs the question where this came from. I really don't know. This came with a Dreamcast that I got on eBay. I was actually buying it for a completely different reason, and this was just one of the things in there. And someone correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I know that Bleem, when they were collapsing, they were selling off all the prototypes. And I know they made a couple of these that they sold. I'm almost wondering if the guy I bought his Dreamcast, I bought a guy's Dreamcast that came with this. I'm wondering if that guy bought this from Bleem. Because I can't imagine anyone else would be able to do that. Although Bleem wasn't really officially third party either, so I don't know. I don't know where this came from. It has no other writing of any kind. It just has the official logo, which, as you can see, based on those, even those Chinese companies that make this stuff illegally do not go out of their way to put the actual names on there. But these guys did. Anyway, so this one is pretty cool. Here, that's where you plug it into your Dreamcast, and that's where you put in the VMU, which is cool. I believe it does support DualShock for the PlayStation controller right there, but it has one other thing. Saturn port. Now this, as awesome as that is, that's probably the main reason this was not the Bleem thing, because I can't imagine why Bleem would put this on there since they would have no reason to. But either way, I would really like to know who actually made this, because I know Sega didn't make it. Why, Sega would not make it and leave this. That would make no sense. But, yeah. So, these are pretty cool, and so if you ever desire to use this thing, you can use that with it, whatever, put there. But it also supports Saturn controller, which is nice. Or this Saturn controller, which is also nice. And these work with extension cables too. But strangely enough, it doesn't support this Saturn controller, which you would think this would be the one it would support, because it, I mean, let's compare it. Pretty similar, you know, it's just got the 2 extra buttons. But it doesn't, like, it doesn't even register, it won't work at all. Which is too bad, but what are you going to do? But yeah, at least that box claims that thing supports the wheel, like the racing wheel and other things. I don't know. They're pretty cool. If you want one, I would get one of those if you can find one, or at least one that supports Saturn, because then you can get some cool Saturn stuff. But if you really want to, you can get one for PlayStation stuff. That is a cheap way to get a dance pad, or possibly it's a free way to get a dance pad, debating how you look at it. It probably works with numerous other accessories. That one does actually claim it works with the racing wheel, so it probably works with some other stuff. I don't know. Got one? Don't get one? I got one. Actually, I got 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, I figured I'd show you just a little bit of gameplay with one of these things. Right now I'm using the Sega Saturn controller, which is plugged in through that one that has the logo on it. Plugged in there, and right here you can see its VMU is plugged into the top there. It's kind of cool. And there's Power Stone on the top. Controller. Let's hit A. See? Works. I'm telling you. So, just going to have to bear with me, because if you want to believe that this is actually doing this, you're going to have to sit through some load screens. I don't want to save, so just press start. Pass that. Pass that.
Welcome to Power.
Just go straight into arcade mode. Yeah. Figured people like Power Stone, right? Power Stone's classic. And it's, you know, I mean, the Saturn controller is going to be a fighting game kind of controller, so let's just go with that, since it suffers from the lack of a joystick for any game I choose. So, yeah. Some Falcon, I guess that's his name, right? Versus some guy on crack. So you can see all the buttons are there. For whatever reason, it seems to have extra support with those buttons. And I'm playing like crap right now because my hands are stretched out trying to play this thing. Oh, come on. I don't know what that was. Okay, yeah, I'm about to get screwed here. Let him kill me. Anyway, that's it. It's hard to play. Cloned. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe if you so desire. However, we'd really appreciate it if you'd check out our other videos that are of a higher production caliber. Thank you.